Hey fight fans, welcome back to the Fight Book. The Indian Action Guy is back with another episode of Fight News to keep you updated with the fight world. Today we have 9 new fight announcements as well as some updates from this weekend's card and from Regnier Guerrero and Benoit Saint-Denis's next fights. So without wasting any time, let's start the video. Let's do it in chronological order and first talk about UFC Vegas 108 this weekend, Katsuro Taira vs Jensen Park. Park shared the behind-the-scenes details of how his upcoming fight came together. According to Park, the UFC first reached out to him while he was still in Korea and again shortly after he landed in the United States. Both times, he turned them down, stating he wanted to fight Steve Erceg. But when Hunter Campbell involved, he could not say no. Then he also revealed that he signed a new UFC contract with improved terms as part of the agreement to face Katsuro Taira. Also, Amir Albazi, the previous headliner of this event, also spoke for the first time after his pullout and revealed that he was not medically cleared. That's why he had to pull out of this card. If you don't know, Taira vs Park is going to be the first ever UFC main event in UFC history, headlined by 2 Asian fighters. Anyway, the full cards of next 2 weekends, UFC Vegas 109 and UFC 319 with their complete bout orders are revealed that you can see on your screen. One fight change happened at UFC 319 preliminary card. Karine Silva vs JJ Aldrich is not happening. Aldrich got hurt in training last week and unfortunately the injury was too much for her and she had to pull out. Replacing her is Dione Barbosa, who is 2-1 in the UFC, coming off a win over Diana Balbita. Barbosa and Silva also fought in 2019 outside of the UFC. Anyway, from the next card, which is happening in Shanghai, there was a welterweight bout between Song Kenan and Kiefer Crosby, but Song Kenan has also pulled out of this event due to an eye injury. Then the biggest fight announced is UFC Paris co-headliner. Another fighting nerd, Mauricio Ruffi, who is currently 3-0 in the UFC with 2 performance of the night finishes, is getting his first assignment against a ranked opponent in Benoit Saint-Denis. BSD lost the last year's UFC Paris card's headliner against Renato Moicano, then came back into the win column at UFC 315 against a debutant. A UFC card with 2 fighting nerds in the headliner and co-headliner is not what I expected we would see this year. Anyway, Edgar Chairez also pulled out of his flyweight bout against Alexandre Costa from Noche UFC 3, and it is not currently confirmed that if he will be replaced or this fight will be rebooked. Anyway, UFC have now officially announced that UFC Rio card will take place at Pharmacy Arena in Rio de Janeiro on October 11th. And with this official announcement, another fight is also reported that a women bantamweight bout is being added on this card, where former grappling champion Beatrice Maschereta, who is currently the LFA bantamweight champion with a pro MMA record of 5-0, will be taking on Irina Alekseeva, who is 1-2 in the UFC with 2 fights losing streak. And last but not least, UFC Perth main event is announced for September 27th. It is a light heavyweight bout where number 3 ranked Carlos Ulberg have finally got his first main event in the UFC. He is currently riding 8-fight win streak and coming off a win over Jan Blachowicz. He will be facing number 8 ranked Dominic Reyes, who is coming off 3-fight knockout streak. And that were all the fights that were announced in the UFC. Outside of the UFC, there are a few fights added on 173 card on November 16th. It is announced that Rugag vs Anatoly Malekhin 2 is not going to be the headliner of this event, and instead the headliner will be a 1 featherweight kickboxing title unification bout between the champion Superborn versus the interim champion Masaki Noiri. The superstar Star Fairtex will also be back in a kickboxing atomweight bout against the Japanese Kana Morimoto, to whom she had gave her belt due to the inactivity. Denise Tembuanga will also be defending her 1 MMA atomweight title in the same card. Then a heavyweight boxing match is announced from Matchroom for October 11th card, where Dave Allen will return after beating Johnny Fisher against Aspinall Mahmoudov, who also came back into the win column with a knockout win in May. Then a title eliminator bout is added on MVP's August 23rd card. WBA number 5 ranked 19-0 Lucas Badi will be taking on their number 9 ranked Roger Gutierrez in WBA lightweight title eliminator to fight Gervonta Davis. And these were all the new fight announcements. Now let's get back to the UFC. A tweet of Rainier Raider was getting viral where he called out Costa for MSG card, but then Ali Abdulaziz, his manager, clarifies that this is not Rainier Raider's account and it is a fake account. The Raider also says in an interview that maybe Paulo Costa is the one who is running this fake account. Rainier Raider confirms that he is not interested in Paulo Costa fight and he will be preparing to fight for the belt. He believes preparing for Khamzat Chimaev would be easier than preparing for Dricus du Plessis' weird style. Then Rainier Raider called Israel Adesanya's win over Alex Pereira the best story in MMA, and he also cites lack of drug testing and facing enhanced opponents as key reason for leaving one championship for the UFC. Then now some random updates from the UFC world. Paul Felder and Michael Bisping have sounded off following Ilia Topuria's comments that he would rather relinquish the lightweight title than fighting Arman Tsarukyan. Then Arman Tsarukyan names Khabib Nurmagomedov as his biggest inspiration during the early days of his MMA journey, and Khabib Nurmagomedov is in Atlantic City and he will be cornering Mavlik Khaybulaev for his PFL tournament championship fight this Friday. Then former lightweight and featherweight champion Conor McGregor is finally back in the testing pool and was randomly blood and urine tested on his yacht. Moreover, the current featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski is finding success outside of the cage as a cook, hitting 1 million followers on Instagram. Then Jailton Almeida, who is currently scheduled to fight in the #1 contender fight, says he could drop down to the light heavyweight division as well and challenge UFC light heavyweight champion Magomed Ankalaev. Then former UFC heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic pulled up to Cleveland Browns training camp as a photographer. He says he is now a content creator. Then UFC welterweight Michael Morales revealed that he is still waiting for Leon Edwards to sign the contract. Then Bruce Buffer says his goal is to be the UFC's announcer for at least another 8 years, and that was all from the UFC world. Then lastly, there were 3 title fights in the boxing world last night, where Kazuki Takami stops Eric Roza in the 10th round to claim the WBA junior flyweight title. Then Antonio Vargas retains his WBA bantamweight title with a 12-round 113-113 unanimous draw against Diego Hega, who after this third straight title fight loss announced his retirement. Anyway, the current champion in recess, Seiya Sasumi, enters the ring to call out Antonio Vargas next, and this fight is now probably next to consolidate WBA bantamweight titles. Then in the main event, Ricardo Sandoval survives a 5th round knockdown to defeat the current unified champion Kenshiro Teraji via split decision to win the WBA and WBC flyweight titles. After the event, Hazuki Ohashi revealed that the plans are in place for 10 Japanese fighters to feature against international opponents on December 27th in Riyadh, headlined by Naoya Inoue. Candidates for the Japanese side include Naoya Inoue, Gento Nakatani, Kenshiro Teraji, Yoshiki Takai, Andy Hiraoka, Yuta Sakai, Jin Sasaki, Hayato Tsutsumi, and Rieto Tsutsumi. And that's all in this video. Now you are again completely up to date with the fight world. If you want to stay updated, keep watching my videos, share your thoughts in the comment section, and then do whatever you want.